Let's start. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome welcome to this first webinar for Open Call 4 of the TrustChain project. The name of the call is Multi-Chain Support for NGI Protocols. I'm Thanasis Papaioannou from the National and Kapodistrian University of Athens. And let's talk about TrustChain in brief. TrustChain is a European project, Horizon Europe, and it's one of the biggest cascade funding projects in the NGI umbrella, fostering on human-centered, trustworthy, and sustainable internet that distributes around 9 million euros of funding through one funding and mentoring program with international experts from different institutions in the core consortium, and also gathering together and building a very big community of researchers and developers around the topics of the next generation internet protocols. The overall objective is to achieve a human-centered, trustworthy, and sustainable decentralized internet. And we do that through 5 open calls that create a portfolio of NGI protocols and an ecosystem of decentralized identity management software solutions, transparent to the user, interoperable, privacy-friendly, regulatory compliant, that seamlessly integrate and interoperate with any of the existing decentralized applications and networks. Who we are? We are 9 organizations distributed across Europe in 7 different European countries with different areas of expertise, both technical and on the user-centric aspects, on the business aspects, and on the regulatory aspects. Yeah, let's go to the next. So, as I said previously, we are sorry about that. So we are distributing. We have this cascade funding scheme with 5 open calls, and we are currently in Open Call 4. Going through the previous ones very briefly, we had a first open call on decentralized digital identity. Second open call on user privacy, data exchanges, and data privacy. A third open call on economics and democracy, and let's say decentralized market frameworks, and decentralized economy in general. And now we are in Open Call 4, where we have multi-chain support for NGI protocols, and as you are going to see, it's about cross-chain interoperability and some other aspects, innovative aspects related to NGI protocols. So overall, TrustChain has started in January 2023, and it's focused not only on the technical issues and the technical topics around the decentralization of the internet and the next generation internet, but also we are aiming to do that with a human-centered design and focusing on citizen empowerment, regulatory compliance, and with a special focus on user privacy, to empower the people, the citizens, with solutions for better and e-democracy and better quality of democracy, to enable more trustworthy transactions online and enable more effective market frameworks, and to enhance the business potential of the solutions, both combining previous NGI solutions, but also integrating together multiple solutions that are developed within the open calls of the TrustChain project. So whatever the call, as I said, I mean, we focus on the empowerment of the end users and the user-centered design, and we cannot do that without engaging end users in the process for co-creating the different solutions that are developed. We of course want regulatory compliance of the different solutions that are developed, and boosting the values of democracy and accountability and transparency. Also, we always use and we promote the use of decentralized digital identity architectures that are combined with IoT, AI, cloud to edge, DLT, and in general, decentralized technological solutions um, that achieve the goals that I mentioned already towards citizen environment, more trustworthy transactions, and in general, in democracy. So, focus of Open Call 4 is on multi-chain support for NGI, and let's see what is that about. And we are going to see what are the topics that we are interested in, and what are the eligibility criteria, and who and how to apply there. Let's go to that. So first things first, this call has been announced on 15th of May, and it runs until 17th of July. It's going to distribute 1,989,000 among 17 selected projects that are going to run for 9 months, which is up to 117,000 euros per project. And the target applicants are developers, innovators, researchers, SMEs, entrepreneurs, working on different NCI topics and application domains, and at the intersection between technical and social sciences and humanities, and any other field like economics, environment, art, design, which can contribute to the values that I have described before. So the applicants are invited to, at the minimum, to adopt a co-creation process in their project, and to involve, of course, end users, both in the design and the validation of their solution. To use standard technology for full stack development, and also as much as possible use previous NGI open source solutions, be open source, and desirably reach TRL7. This is not mandatory, but this is kind of nice to have. And be innovative as compared to the state of the art in the aspects of user privacy or data governance, and in general, and not only that, in general, be innovative as compared to the state of the art, and provide new and useful solutions that could have also some business potential, which is again, I mean, this is desirable but not mandatory. The high business potential is related to the TRL7 that I was saying previously. So what are we looking for at this call? The key objective is to design and build gateways to transfer knowledge, metadata, data, coins from one chain to another in a trustworthy, secure manner and seamless manner. We need interoperability across chains, privacy by design, trustworthiness by design, scalability, greenness, openness, legal compliance. And in general, I mean, to give you some examples, we need to be able to have not all of these aspects, of course, but any of these or several of those. Several of these can be addressed by each project. Even something related to this, not exactly this. So transfer of value across chains like NFTs, coins, or other assets. Ability to execute contracts that depend on the state or ownership of an NFT, irrespective of which chain the NFT currently resides on. Semantic interoperability, semantic standards, and open ontology schemas that enable the effective transfer of information and knowledge across chains and allow data interoperability. Mechanisms and procedures that enable the trustworthy use of digital identities across wallets, applications, and blockchains, or the secure binding of digital identities on multiple chains. Mechanisms that exploit the combination of AI, blockchain, IoT, and cloud for higher accountability, transparency, provenance, civil rights, and citizen empowerment. New and more trustworthy decentralized internet protocols to avoid centralization of power and trusted third parties. So all of these protocols should enable seamless or solutions should enable a seamless interoperability. They should be scalable. They should preserve high security properties that is maintained across chains. Shouldn't lose on energy efficiency aspects by this data or value transfers across chains, and should scale well with the number of transactions. And we are talking about gateways or bridges. We are talking about knowledge transfers, and which is challenging if you do that across diverse blockchains that have different consensus mechanisms or governance models and/or governance models. We need to preserve the security and privacy aspects across diverse blockchains with different, as I said previously, consensus mechanisms, for example, or in general, different properties in terms of transaction finality and etc. We also look for enhancements in the blockchain, in the existing blockchain networks or in the blockchain technology, like more efficient blockchain bridges, more decentralized and green consensus mechanisms, app-specific consensus mechanisms, anonymous blockchains, blockchain speedups, etc. So all these solutions can be acceptable as well. And also brokerage solutions, whereby DIDs can be mapped across different frameworks to facilitate the interoperability from multiple siloed systems. Also, in general, we are looking for models and procedures to support simple and seamless user experience across different chains. Techniques to carry out DID rotation and mapping so that we can minimize the DID management for the users. Platforms that can build on top of existing ones. I said that before. This is on top of existing ones from NGI projects in general, and particularly on top of existing ones that have been developed within TrustChain. That is pretty much desirable, but overall, I mean, we put great emphasis on the reusability of the NGI software, let's say, solutions that have been developed and like sit out there and we really want to utilize as much as possible from that. We look for infrastructures that are inclusive, energy efficient and usable, and platforms and infrastructures that follow the European standards. And in general, just there is some repetition with what I said before. Just recapping, we want all these transfers of data, knowledge, and stuff to happen on trustworthy and secure manner. We want seamless communication for the users, security and privacy preservation in the transfers, scalability, handling large volumes of transactions or large volumes of data, adherence to diverse regulatory landscapes, and in particular the European one and the ones of the member states when you transfer value across different countries. Focus on online user privacy and data governance in user-friendly design, and especially in light of special needs of vulnerable groups, and integrate with previous solutions, as I said, as much as possible. So there are some specific aspects to be covered in your proposal. So my colleague Pablo is going to take over from here.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, for your appliance to the project, you will need to fulfill a document. I believe it's like 10 pages in length. So we are gonna need you to explain exactly the challenge that this open call is addressing. We also need you to specify the technological innovation that your project is proposing to the state of the art. So we want you to be presenting something that is innovative, something new, or you maybe are enhancing something that it's already developed. But we want innovating projects at this point. Also, as you may hear from Thanasis, this is a project for the human horizon. So the user-centric approach is really, really important here. This is something that we are gonna take very in account. So please be very specific about how you are gonna develop the user-centric approach during the whole process of the project. Because, as I said, it's very important for this project, okay? Also, you will need to specify the user privacy and data governance. Also tackle with the challenge that we want to address in this open call, and also in the whole TrustChain project. As Francis mentioned, the regulatory is also very important here. We want to cover at least the European regulatory framework, but this is a ecosystem that is worldwide. So if you also cover different regulatory framework from other parts of the country, you also need to mention it. And it's very important that you mention also how are you gonna achieve this regulatory framework, okay? As I said, we are looking for new solutions, disruptive ideas. So yeah, you need to specify what kind of state-of-the-art are you innovating in, or if you are also enhancing one technology concrete. Okay, a more challenge that we want to address is, of course, equality, diversity, ethics, and other inclusions of your project. As you know, Europe is very on the edge on this kind of regulatory parts. this kind of challenge. So we also want to hear what your project is innovating in this area and what parts are you covering here. Okay. Of course, we are also building a whole ecosystem around this project. So we want to hear you. What kind of solution are you integrating in your project that have been developed during the open calls that are already on the stage? And yeah, how your project can contribute to this ecosystem, okay? Because we want to all the projects to build together win-win solutions. So this is something what we want to hear from your side. This is the presentation of the user-centric approach. As I mentioned, this is very important part for the project. So Andres is gonna speak here.
Hi, hello. Hope everyone can hear me and see me well. So for the projects of TrustChain, it is required that they are what we call user-centric. But what is actually user-centric? Well, when we talk about these, we talk about projects that both respond to the needs of real users and also follow a process of testing and validation with those users. So this is something that is important for further adoption, commercialization, and impact of your project, and usually a shortcoming of these kind of solutions that we have come across in the past years. Just to quickly explain the four phases of the user-centered approach, which are represented here. The first thing we should do is to see if the idea of our solution actually fulfills the needs of given users. So we call this concept testing, and also to know who are going to be our expected users, and we have to define them very well. Then after we design the first wireframe or mockup or perhaps prototype of our applications, we should engage into piloting. This could be done through different means and methodologies with different samples of users. They can be qualitative and quantitative samples, once this is done, then the changes that users suggested have to be implemented in the solution. And this needs to be done a couple of times during your project. So we make sure that actually your tool, your solution has changed based on the feedback of users. Here we can see a small table of the requirements and challenges. So, for example, I won't go through all of them, but I will highlight some of them. So the sample needs to be representative in any of the ways of your end users and should include real users or real people who could be your users. Then you should show how you would have access to the end users, and you should see what are the variables representative for your sample. So I don't know, for example, in one case can be gender, in other case can be digital skills. It depends on the sector and the context of application of your solution. And well, what we expect from you, which will I think I will discuss in the next slide, actually, would be more about the methodological roadmap and the plan. But if we could go one slide ahead, I can explain a little bit better. So just as kind of requirements, things we will need from you in terms of seeing that we have a nice user-centric approach is in the first stances of the project to show that your solution responds to user real needs. So to know user real needs, research user real needs. That could be through researching previous materials or conducting sessions with your own users. Then you need to have a defined methodology. So let's say a methodological roadmap that includes the sample, how many users will be engaged, in which phases, how will be implemented, how would you recruit users, what kind of methodologies and why would you employ, and what is the objective of that. And as well, there needs to be a way, or let's say a representation on how what users have said will have an impact on your tool. So those are, let's say, the requirements. It is, I'd say, important to show in your applications that you have the expertise in the team to carry out this activity. So if you have someone hired in the team that really has the skills and preparation of user research, for example, that shows us that gives us trust in the fact that you will be able to carry out adequately all these steps and incorporate them into the solution. And for now, that'll be it. But if someone has some more questions about this, I'll be more than happy to answer you.
We will have time at the end for the question and answer. But yes, as Anders mentioned, this is a very important part of the project. We will consider the person that will be in charge on this part. But also, if you are selected for the project, we will guide you in this process. We know this is not very common in the project when they are starting and they are developing from the scratch. But TrustChain is here to solve this. We want to cover it and help you on this path. I don't know, Francis, do you want to continue from here or should I continue?
Yes, okay. So, as this slide says, I mean, basically you have all the ethical requirements that all Horizon Europe project proposals should have. So you have in the administrative form to fill an ethics questionnaire, especially regarding the handling of the personal data as part of your project, if you do so, of course. We do have cases of handling of personal data and even more sensitive data of health records and stuff like that. We had projects like that. So in general, this is something that can happen, but of course you have to do that taking the right, taking care of the right procedures, like having informed consent and have a legal basis for data processing, and also describe how you are compliant with data protection regulation and in general with the GDPR. And when needed, seek approval from an external independent advisor on the measures that you have to apply to mitigate any ethical risks in your proposal. So as I said, this is not a blocker, the ethical risks, but you have to have proper mitigation plan. So what are the general eligibility criteria and overall the selection process that we follow? We have a very rigorous selection process that first does some eligibility check based on the list of eligible countries and the eligible type of applicants. Regarding the countries, we apply more or less the same rules as the Horizon Europe program, with member states, of course, to be eligible and all associated members, but also, all kind of other eligible countries listed in the Horizon Europe, directions, they are also eligible for us. And if you have any questions regarding that, or there is a particular case, please consult us or send us your question, your concern regarding this aspect for the eligible countries. And then I will define later the eligible types of applicants. After the eligibility check, we do this proposal evaluation using uh, one, let's say, independent external reviewer and one internal reviewer from the core consortium. And then if there is any kind of discrepancy, then we follow a consensus process so that we find some consensus among the internal and the external reviewer, and they agree on a score. Based on these scores, we invite for interviews some top runners, top runner applications, up to, I mean, a little bit more than the number that are going to be selected. Like it depends on the number of the proposals that are going to be selected. For Open Call 4, I anticipate this number to be 22 to 25 to be invited for the online interview, and based on the interview we decide which ones from the top runners, from the top applications, are going to be selected for funding. So we intend for 17 projects for this call. So next. Okay, so first, let's see how to apply. There is a special site for that that is also accessible and discoverable from the TrustChain webpage. So this is the TrustChain webpage, but then from this page you are going to find this link easily for applying to Open Call 4. And you have to, as Pablo said previously, you have to submit a proposal of up to 10 pages. So it's a short proposal, a short application that should carefully address, this is a typo, address the Open Call 4, the requirements of the Open Call 4 and the guide for applicants, the eligibility criteria, and we have some templates and stuff for this specific call. Also, you have to fill the administrative part, including any obligatory supporting documents specified in the guide for applicants. Next, please. So, so you are going to receive some funding in the form of lump sum. So you are not required to submit any timesheets or to really tell us many details about how you allocate your funds, as long as other than a small overall explanation of how you distributed how you spent the money that have been given to you for the purposes of the project, and of course that the effort involved in your project, I mean, it's kind of proportional to the amount of money that is going to be given to you. But apart from that, we don't really go into the details of how you distribute your funding internally. Also, you will have access to the Alastria blockchain infrastructure, free access to that for deploying your solutions if you need to. You will have some coaching support from the TrustChain Core Consortium. You will have some help on the visibility and the promotion of your solution from F6S and the other partners of the TrustChain, but also you are going to yourselves to help promote the TrustChain project and vision through some publications or through some dissemination activities that you will be you will engage to, and also you will be part of the wider TrustChain ecosystem, joining the community of all these previous developers and very good teams that we have gathered together, and we have some joint sessions and some joint activities that you will be participating, and hopefully have some bilateral or multilateral collaborations with other innovators. So actually there was a slide that somehow uh, maybe it's part from the frequently asked questions regarding the teams that I was saying previously, but I'm going to tell you about that that are eligible to apply. I'm going to tell you about that later. So the call announcement was, as I said before, 15th of May. The deadline is 17th of July. We are going to have one more, at least, webinar. So the project will run for 9 months, from November roughly to July 2025. Yeah, these things I think are obvious. What is cascade funding? The funding comes from the European Commission through the Horizon Europe Framework Program. It is given to us, and then we distribute the funding to you based on this selection procedures that I described previously. I think that overall this is okay. And this is the interesting question for you that I said previously. Who is eligible for the TrustChain Open Calls? Is a team of natural persons, any kind of consortium of legal entities, one or more legal entities in any located any of them in any eligible country. At least one of them should be located in one eligible country, and others that are not from eligible countries can also participate, but they are not eligible for funding. But this is okay, since at least one entity is located in one eligible country. It can be universities, research centers, NGOs, foundations, any kind of enterprises, or larger SMEs or large enterprises, and any combination of the above. So if you look at this here, the only case that cannot be eligible for application is one individual person. I mean, this is not eligible. And yeah, eligible countries, of course, are member states, associated countries, overseas countries and territories. And yeah, if you have any questions regarding that, please tell us about that. But I mean, just have in mind this: one or more entities should be in one of these eligible countries. Okay, so can I submit several projects? Actually, no. In one specific call, you are eligible to one particular application only per call. What happens if you have applied before in one previous open call? You are eligible to apply again or to be funded once more, as long as per consortium partner, the overall the total funding cannot exceed 200,000. So as long as the total funding per partner does not exceed this amount, then you are eligible to get subsequent funding additional to the one that you have gotten in a previous open call. So as I said previously, we are available for more questions if there are. Now we are going to have this a Q&A session, but also we are accessible through social media channels and through our emails, so that we can answer all your concerns or questions regarding applying to this call. Thank you very much for this, and let's go now to the questions and answers. And if I can, yeah, can do that like that. So remind me, Daniel, do we reply only orally, or we also type?
No, please try to answer live. So you have to read the question and
Yes.
address.
Okay.
Great.
So I think that the first question was related to the eligibility of projects that have been funded already, and I think that I have addressed that because it was in the slides. So anyone that has been funded before can apply again, as long as per partner they don't exceed this 200 limit. So if, of course, if they are the same team of people, they have to be careful not to violate this upper bound. Is it beneficial? So this one has been answered, the first one. So is it beneficial for an application? I don't get the question. With established planned research collaboration. What is there for you, basically, if I get it right? So what is beneficial for you? Okay, so even if you are an established organization, I mean, the funding can be quite good for a 9 months project. This 120 roughly K that we are giving. The other thing is that you can always meet some new people and expand even your network, even more your network. And yeah, we are building a brand name, this TrustChain framework and ecosystem has the ambition to become one of the best, let's say, and biggest frameworks for the NGI ecosystem. So through that, you get some additional dissemination and some additional promotion from what you have already alone. So that's the benefit. I would say being part of another community, expand your network, get another channel for promotion, and of course the funding, which is not eligible. I don't know if anybody from my colleagues wants to add something on that. So what's the added value for someone that is already well established in the community and is already a big player in the area? So if not, I think that this is answered. Do we have any other question?
There is no more questions in the chat, but Amar raises his hand. I don't know if the question that he was about to ask was answered. You can please type in the chat if it was answered, or maybe you want to ask the question, Amar.
Is there any challenge? There is another question. Is there any challenge in applying for the EIC accelerator, so the European Innovation Center accelerator in parallel? No conflict. No conflict. Of course, the European Innovation Center has some calls that are more applied for I mean, for solutions that have been already developed, more or less. Within the Open Call 4, we look, and in general, in our calls, we look for something that you don't have it ready, that is going to be developed partially, at least, within the project. So that it can become open source, so that there is some, let's say that we can excuse the funding that we are giving you. I mean, we have to fund innovative solutions, not something that exists already, so that we promote or let's say we boost its business exploitation. So as long as you address some different aspects of your idea, of your business endeavor with the EIC accelerator, and you are aiming to develop some new parts of your solution within the Open Call 4, then you are eligible. There is no conflict. Otherwise, there is, of course, if there is no innovation or no new development plans, then you will have a problem in the evaluation of TrustChain. Okay, I hope it's okay, it's clear. So chat, let's see. No. Any other question? Thanks.
It will be all, I think.
So, okay, as if there are no other questions, as I said, we remain at your disposal, accessible through various means. Most probably, we are going to have a second webinar at some point. Of course, trying to address any additional comments or questions that will arise in the following days through some emails or through social media. And yeah, and if there are no other issues, we can close this one. Thank you very much for your participation. And hopefully we are going to collaborate together soon.
Goodbye to everyone.